Welcome to the Weird and Witchy Sh podcast. I'm Kristy, your basic witch guide, here to make the mystical a little bit more approachable. In today's astrology lesson, we are talking all things Libra and how that manifests as your sun, moon and rising sign. So Libra is the 7th sign of the zodiac, with Libra season starting on September 23rd and ending on October 22nd, and this sign is represented by the scales. And actually Libra is the only sign that is represented by an inanimate object. All of the other signs are either represented by people, or they kind of had ties in with certain deities, or they're represented by animals or a mythological creature. Libra marks the beginning of autumn, making it a cardinal sign. So cardinal signs tend to be these innovative leaders. They are go-getters and high achievers, hence why they kind of lead us into the coming season. Libra rules over the 7th house in the astrological chart, which is the house associated with our relationship to others and connections of all kinds, including romantic partners, friendships and business associates. In our Leo 101 episode, we did briefly speak about the 5th house ruling romance, pleasure and sexuality. So while we can see certain elements of that in the 7th house, it's kind of more about our connection to others rather than our sexual desires and pleasures. So the 7th house is often known as the house of marriage because it's about collaborations, conflicts and connections. It doesn't have to just be marriage in a literal sense of being married to the person. Libra is an air sign and its ruling planet is Venus, which is a very feminine sign. It's all about harmony, balance, love, attraction, beauty and aesthetics. The tarot card association for Libra is, of course, Justice. This is the card of fairness, law, order, and kind of learning that what you reap you sow. Some keywords strongly associated with Libra is balanced, beautiful, charming, harmonious, artistic, peacekeeper, thoughtful, vain, fickle, indecisive, unreliable, and fence-sittery, which is a word that I just created, but being a fence sitter is something that Libra's kind of known for. Also, if anyone is watching the video version of this podcast, I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder and my face looks bright pink, and I'm not really sure why, because it's the exact same way that I do my base every single day, and if I look in the mirror it doesn't look bright pink, but in the viewfinder even my hands, I don't know if it's a setting that I have it on, but apologies if that's distracting and you're it's giving Mr. Blobby. So Libra as your sun sign. So as we've discussed many a time, your sun sign is who you are at your core. So this is the very essence of you, the kind of deep rooted, youest you that ever was you. So it's kind of your identity and your ego. But again, I've said before in other episodes, your sun sign only tells us one element of yourself. So using me as an example, I'm a Virgo sun, but I have a lot of fire in my chart. So I have an Aries moon and a Sagittarius rising, and I also have a Leo stellium. So I do have like a lot of like fiery stuff going on, but really at my core I do truly feel like I am a Virgo, but all of these other elements are kind of like massively influencing me. So sun sign kind of gives you an idea about somebody's like identity or maybe like their ego and stuff, but it's not the entire picture. Even if you have the sun, moon and rising, it's not the entire picture. It's just like a kind of like way to like dip your toes in the pool of someone. That was a really gross thing to say. I'm so sorry. So if someone does have Libra as their sun sign, that means that they were born between September 23rd and October 22nd. Libra suns tend to be very sociable and very well liked. They probably get on with everyone and can fit in well in most situations. Likely they are someone who can strike up a conversation easily with anyone from any walk of life. All air signs kind of tend to be quite good communicators, although it manifests slightly differently, but Libras are no different. The way it kind of manifests for Libra is that they are like very friendly and they can talk to everyone and anyone and get on with everyone and get on with anyone. So with this, Libras tend to be incredibly charming and very attractive as well. So like we says, they're ruled by Venus. So anything that's kind of got like Venus influence to it is going to have this kind of beauty and a very like aesthetically pleasing way about them. And Libras are the same. They're very charismatic, they're very flirtatious. I feel like Libra's one of those signs that you like might meet them and you might be absolutely like certain that this person fancies you because like the whole night they've been like flirting with you and they've been like laughing at your jokes and they've been like touching your arm and they've just been like very flirtatious, and you're like, this person is like so incredibly into me, but actually they're just like that and they don't like mean anything by it. It's just kind of who they are. With that being said though, relationships are incredibly important to Libras, so they do put a lot of effort into their relationships, whether this effort kind of manifests as being the friendliest, nicest, most bubbly, happy person in the room, or manifests as accidentally making you think that they're in love with you. Because Libras really like to be liked and they like to fit in with everyone, this can sometimes come across as being like not very genuine or quite contradictory. Libras can kind of bend and shape themselves to like suit whoever they're with, and this means that their personality and their opinions might change depending on who they're talking to, which can of course be very frustrating for the people around them, but it can also be like a little bit confusing for Libras as well, because they might then kind of struggle with knowing their own true identity because they kind of just like evolve themselves into whatever the person they're with needs them to be. Libras very often can just tell you what you want to hear and show you the side of themselves that they think that you would best like to see. More often than not, I don't think that they do this in like a kind of like malicious or kind of sneaky way. In most cases, I think it is coming from like a good place of not wanting to like tip the scales too far in one direction. Like for them, they just kind of want everything to be balanced and harmonious at all times, and if that means changing themselves to keep that harmony and balance, they might well just choose to do that, which ironically in the long run can lead to more kind of imbalance and chaos for them and everyone around them, because like you can't be the perfect person for everyone all the time, eventually like shit will hit the fan. Like, say for instance, like 5 people that you know from all like 5 different walks of life, with all like that you've shared like 5 different personalities with, are all in the room together. How are you going to decide who you are when all of them are together, you know? And if this happens to be your first Libra 101 that you're tuning in for, I'm by no means kind of like singling Libra out here. I talk about the positive aspects and the more negative aspects of all the signs, depending on the person, their birth chart, their other signs. Many different factors play into it. I just kind of maybe talk about one end of the scale to the other end of the scale, but it's like it's not a Libras are definitely this way or Libras are definitely that way. It's like a whole range of many things that Libras could be. Some famous Libra sons are Jenna Ortega, Kim Kardashian, Bella Hadid, Bruno Mars, Dakota Johnson. I feel like she's like very Libra. Will Smith, Gwen Stefani, Snoop Dogg, Bridget Bardot, and Susan Sarandon. I seen somebody commenting the other day about how Dakota Johnson with the Lyme situation is like the perfect explanation of a Libra. So like there was this like interview that she done, I think it might have been one of those like Vogue interviews or something like that, and they were in her house and she had like a big bowl of limes and somebody said something to her about them and she was like, oh my god, just like I just absolutely love limes, I'm so obsessed with limes, like limes, like, and I love to like display them in my home, blah blah blah. And then later on in an interview, like that was brought up to her and she was like, yeah, I don't even know why it says that, I'm actually allergic to limes. Like, and I think, yeah, I do think that's fucking hilarious. Like, I love Dakota Johnson, I think she's so funny, but very like Libra. I also think as well, I don't think she's a Libra rising. I don't think she is, but in rising signs, we'll go on to that, but normally like can like depict like how like a person looks. But I also think that she just also really looks like a Libra and her mannerisms are very kind of Libra-like as well. Yeah, just thought that was funny. So Libra as your moon sign. So your moon sign is your inner world and your emotions. So if someone's moon sign is Libra, it means that the moon was in the zodiac sign of Libra at the time that they were born, and the moon changes sign like every 2.5 days. So Libra moons are typically very concerned with what's right and what's fair for everyone. So this means that they're probably very empathetic towards the needs of others, and they think a lot about the happiness of those around them. They are probably the kind of person who would go above and beyond to make sure that the people that they love are happy, healthy, and want for nothing. Libra is one of the most sociable signs of the zodiac, so a lot of their inner world is probably dedicated to their relationships. They will definitely be at their happiest and emotionally at their best when they are in thriving, loving relationships. Again, this doesn't just have to be romantic, this is relationships of all kind. For Libra, the people that they love and the people that they care about are probably the most important part of their life. And that's not just Libra moons, that kind of is Libra of all placements. The kind of downside of a Libra moon could be their indecisiveness and how quickly they change their mind. Just kind of like a Libra externally can change themselves to fit in with anyone or any situation. Their inner world might also be kind of very susceptible to change as well. Oftentimes they might choose the path of least resistance, and if the path of least resistance is them changing their mind and them just kind of changing their mind is kind of like easier for everyone and everything, they might well just do that. Libra is also very known for their love of beauty. This means that they might have a very artistic eye, but they have to kind of be careful not to get too distracted by shiny new things or shiny new people. For example, I mean, again, not calling Libras out, just saying it like it is, just talking about one extreme to another. For example, if the path of least resistance is having a wonderful, perfect, unblemished new relationship with a brand new person, rather than doing the hard and uncomfortable work to fix a current relationship, they might choose that. Again, not saying that all Libras are cheaters. Listen, I didn't invent astrology, okay? In all seriousness though, humans as well as birth charts are incredibly complex. So like this, you're not going to know like a person's true character just because they're like a Libra moon or just because they're a Libra sun. I just really want to like reiterate that to you in case you're like dating a Libra and you're like, bitch, what the fuck. Libras of all placements generally tend to have very good intentions. They just kind of want like an easy life and they don't really want anyone to get hurt. And they generally love beauty, balance, harmony, and they love to love and they love to be loved. Also, it is just worth saying that we've all got all the astrological signs in our chart somewhere. Obviously, it's going to be stronger for some people and how that influences them. But, like, depending on what house Libra's in, for instance, you might, like, have a lot of Libra traits in that one kind of part of your life. Or you might kind of face a lot of, like, indecisiveness and stuff like that in that, like, one area. So even though like here we're talking about like the sun, moon and rising and how that might manifest, we all have Libra somewhere in our chart, and this Libra influence will be there to some degree in all of our birth charts. So some famous Libra moons are Emma Stone, Kristen Bell, Evan Peters, Tina Fey, Carly Kloss, Tom Hardy, Stockard Channing, Walt Disney, Kate Winslet, and Ariana Grande. So, Libra as your rising sign. So, someone has Libra as their rising sign. It means that the constellation of Libra was rising over the eastern horizon at the very moment that they were born. And this changes every 2 hours, which is why it's important to have your exact birth time when you're casting your chart. Your rising sign also determines the structure for the rest of your chart. So your rising sign will always rule your first house, and then in order of the signs, your other house rulers will be determined. So if Libra rules the first house, Scorpio will rule your second house, Sagittarius your third house, Capricorn your fourth house, and so on and so forth. Your rising sign also determines your chart ruler. So for Libra rising, your chart ruler would be Venus. So all of that harmonious, charming, charismatic, feminine, kind of very well balanced energy probably plays a huge role in this person's life. So we've spoke a lot about rising signs in the other Astrology 101 episodes. If you're really wanting to kind of like learn more about astrology and more about the signs, I recommend going back and listening to all of those episodes. I have done an episode every month since the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, and will be continuing that all the way through to Pisces, and then I'll start some kind of new astrology series every month, I guess. And I just think that it just gives you like a really good like perspective on learning astrology and learning how that manifests in the other signs. And then also I don't want to be like incredibly like repetitive in every episode for people who do tune in every episode, and then it feels like I'm just saying like the same thing. So Anyway, we've spoke a lot about rising signs on this channel, but just briefly, your rising sign is thought to be your persona, or the mask that you show the world, or who you kind of show up as in the world. An example of this, again, just using me, would be, even though I'm a Virgo sun and I feel quite Virgo on the inside, I am a Sagittarius rising, and most people that I know think that I'm a fire sign when they like kind of first meet me. If somebody's to like guess my guess what star sign I am, they're always like, oh, are you like a Sagittarius? Or because they think I'm a fire sign, so like the outside world, I guess, sees me more as Sagittarius because that's probably the mask I show to the world, but who I am at my core is my little Virgo self. And some astrologers consider your rising sign to be incredibly important because it's thought to be the very moment that your soul entered your body, so your spiritual entered your physical and you became the you on this earth. So for that reason, your rising sign is thought to be able to determine your like life path or your destiny. So this can kind of show us a little bit about what career somebody might be drawn to. So for Libra rising, they might be drawn to jobs in law enforcement because they do have like a strong sense of justice, and this is what you'll hear over and over again, like law enforcement for Libras. I just think, are Libras going to be okay with hurting like the bad guy's feelings and sending him to jail? I don't know. But I do think because they do have like a very good sense of justice and they are likely to kind of pass like very, very fair judgments on people, they would take into account all of the facts and come to like a very well balanced decision. They probably would be good at being something like a judge or something like that, because I think they'd give like probably like quite fair sentencing, and I can see why Libras would thrive in that. I actually also see Libras being able to thrive in something like being an undercover detective, because they'd be able to kind of blend in with whoever they were undercover, like researching or whatever it is that people detecting, whatever it is detectives do. I just feel like if in a job like that, like Libras would like really, really understand the assignment and really, really commit to the bit, you know? Also, anything people related, Libra rising's likely to thrive in. I can see them being really good in a job where they can like really help people. So this could be as broad as like working for a charity or being in a HR department or something like that. Also anything to do with like art, beauty or creativity, again very, very broad. So this could be like anything from like visual merchandising or to being like a beauty therapist or a personal stylist. I feel like with Libras, because they're so like because they can flow quite well, they can kind of fit seamlessly into a lot of roles. But I'm kind of saying like, obviously they have like justice is like a big part of them. They want everybody to be fair, and they also really, really love like beauty and creativity and people. So I feel like something that could blend all of them together would be pretty amazing for a Libra rising. Some astrologers also believe that your rising sign is your physical mask in this world, so literally how you look. So for Libra risings, this could be being very attractive, of course. They probably have like very even, very beautiful features. They're probably very like striking to look at, and they can look either like very cute or very like cheeky. They normally have like kind of like pinchable cheeks and very nice smiles. I also see Libras being like very like elegant almost. There's like a look that all Libra strong kind of Libra placements have about them, and I can't quite place what I like mean when I say it. I feel like they look like a magical pony in a way, and I don't really know how to like say it any better than that. And I don't mean horsey, because they certainly don't look like, you know, like the royal family looks like horsey, no offense. They don't look like that. They look like what I can literally describe as like, yeah, like a mystical pony, but they also kind of have like this like golden aura to them as well. I notice like a lot of like Libra risings have like either like kind of golden warm undertones, or they just kind of give off the vibe of like looking like a you're so golden, da 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 da, or something, you know what I mean? Also, Harry Styles is one of my Libra rising examples, and he is also a Libra moon, so I feel like, is that why he wrote that song? Potentially. So some other famous Libra risings are Leonardo DiCaprio, who is also a Libra moon as well, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jennifer Aniston, Frank Sinatra, Ewan McGregor, Britney Spears, Stevie Wonder, and Niall Horan. So that is it for today's episode. I hope that you have got something really good out of it. If you have, please let me know that you've enjoyed the episode by interacting with it. You know, like a simple like rating, or like a thumbs up, or like a comment if you're over on YouTube goes like a really, really long way for me as like a small content creator who puts like a lot of energy and a lot of effort into these podcast episodes. It really does mean a lot when people kind of like give back by just like a comment, letting me know something that they enjoyed, or even just giving the video a thumbs up, or ratings on podcast platforms. Truly do mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, bye.